So, these are some of the qualities of the sun. Powerful, shining, causing plants to photosynthesize. Therefore, definitely our children must grow in front of our eyes. We need to guide them. We need to be the champions in our home. If you are to look at the sun, will you be able to see it with a naked eye? You will go blind. But the sun is not something bad. Sometimes the sun is scorching. Yes, the father in the home, sometimes he comes back with a bit of a temper. I'm not giving a green license to the fathers here to get angry in the home. It's just an example. And then we have the children in the home. Their relation with their father must be beautiful, but at the same time that respect must be there. Look at how we cannot look at the sun in the eyes. I am not saying, oh children, don't look at your parents in the eyes. No. But the statement is, let us respect our parents. And oh parents, ensure, dear fathers, that there is an amount of respect. One might say, how do I earn that respect in the home? By living as a champion. Remember our fathers, when we look at them, they are our heroes. They are flawless people to us when we are children. We look at them as champions. They are our source of inspiration. And they are our guide. But today, the parents of today, the fathers of today, sometimes their own children guide them. Why? Because they drink, they swear, they gamble, they do this, they do that. They swear their own wives in front of their children, which is the biggest crime on earth. They raise their voices. How do you want your child to respect you when you don't respect yourself? These are the qualities of the sun. Take a look at the moon. The moon has no light of its own. The more bright or the brighter the sun is, the more the moon will shine. Is that not correct? The moon gets its light from the sun. It does not have a light of its own. If a father plays his role in the home properly, the mother's role will be made easy. She will be more effective in the house than if the two of them are fighting, or if the father is not playing his role properly. Similarly, if you take a look at the moon, you can look at it. It is full, it is beautiful, you admire it. The stars don't come out while the sun is there. They are there in the skies, but you won't see them. But when the moon is out, the stars are twinkling. That is the close relation between the children and the mother. It is definitely an example, a complete example. The moon depicts the role of the mother in the home, all the qualities of the moon. So much so that the moon goes through a 28-day cycle, and so do women. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Some days you don't see the moon. In the same way, some days don't expect much from the women folk. And we know why. 28-day cycle, subhanallah. They use the term the birth of the new moon. Who gives birth? Subhanallah. It is the woman who gives birth. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. That is the example in the Quran. Simple example, which we may have disregarded in the past. Maybe we didn't even know what it meant. Then we have the stars that twinkle, mashallah. When do they twinkle? When the moon is out. Now tell me, when the sun comes in the place of the moon, and the moon comes in the place of the sun, what do we have outside? Something known as an eclipse. When there is an eclipse, what happens? We can neither see the sun nor the moon. We just know where they are. That's it. And it is a sign of Qiyamah, because we know the hadith says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَقْبِلُ تَوْبَةَ الْعَبْدِ مَا لَمْ يُغَرْغِرْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts the tawbah of a worshipper for as long as he does not get to the point of gharghara. Number one. Number two, we also know, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَقْبِلُ التَّوْبَةِ مَا لَمْ تَطْلُعِ الشَّمْسُ مِنْ مَغْرِبِهَا. The doors of tawbah are opened until one day when the sun will rise from the other side. The question might be posed, How can the sun rise from the other side? Let me tell you, when there is an eclipse, and the two have now disappeared momentarily, rather than the sun coming out on the other side, it will take a reverse mode and come out the other way. For this reason, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said in a hadith, إن الشمس والقمر آيتان من آيات الله لا يخسفان لموت أحد ولا لحياته فإذا رأيتم ذلك فاذكروا الله وصلوا وادعوا ربكم حتى ينجلي. The sun and the moon are signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They do not eclipse for the life or the death of anyone. But whenever you see the eclipse, engage in dua, engage in salah, engage in istighfar, and remain in ibadah until they reappear in a normal manner. Because it is a sign of qiyamah. You need to make dua. Ya Allah, protect us. Something wrong here. Wallahi, my dear mothers and sisters in the home, when mother loses her role and wants to play father's role, and when father loses his role and wants to play mother's role, and we mix up the roles and the trousers are worn by the wrong people, subhanallah, in the house we have what is known as a social eclipse, where the significance of mother is gone, the significance of father is gone, the stars are nowhere to be seen, just as in a normal eclipse. You will never see the stars around. Those who will lose will be the children. They will lose the most when mother and father are disputing and fighting and quarreling. For this reason, Islam has taught us, you want to tell your wife something, you want to tell your husband something a little bit harsh, make sure it happens behind closed doors, not outside the doors of Woolworth. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. If you are to lose track of your roles, you become a statistic. And tell me something, when women become like men and when men become like women, is it not a sign of qiyamah? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has informed us already that it is a great sign of qiyamah. We need to make dua, engage in salah until that eclipse has returned to normal. The message here, and I told you I would end with this example. Let us not lose track of our roles. Islam has given us freedom more than anyone and everyone else, more than any other religion. And at the same time, Islam has raised our status. There is a woman who accepted Islam known as Yvonne Ridley. We may have heard her name. She was a British journalist captured in Afghanistan and released at the time of the war. Not to say that that war is over. May Allah grant us assistance, inshallah, throughout the world. She says, before I accepted Islam, I could not walk out of the home. I could not greet someone who came to my home knocking on the door unless I spent 15 to 20 minutes in front of the mirror, putting a face onto my face that was not my own. But when I accepted Islam, all I had to do was slip on a little cloak, put a scarf on my head, and I would open the door with a smile. Subhanallah. That is one statement that must teach us. Islam teaches you to be yourself. My dear mothers and sisters, you have the right to a lot, but keep it within the framework of the Sharia and Islam. I have always encouraged women to create all women's gyms, all women's swimming pools and clubs, and enjoy what you have. Keeping fit is not only for men, as I mentioned yesterday. You need to have your own treadmill. You need to have a treadmill within 5-6 of you. It's not impossible. 10-20 of you get together, create a small women's club, have someone's garage or something that you can use. Each one can contribute a little bit, buy a few things, and go to the gym every morning. Keep fit. Wallahi, you will feel much better. Your mind will be fresh. Your thinking will be positive because you will be healthy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant our women folk good health as well as the men. So wallahi, the message here is loud and clear. Let us not fall prey to the misunderstandings that the people have created around us. As men and women, and as Muslims, learn your religion. Understand why what is decreed, rather than being opposed to the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember, ultimately we have to face Allah Rabbul Izzati wal Jalal. A little question that I was asked a few weeks ago in one of my lectures when I spoke of Jannah and the Hur. The women asked, if men are to get women, what do women get? That's a brilliant question. Well, the answer is, if men get women, then women get men. So the question is, which men do we get? The answer is, if you were married, you would get your wife. And upon hearing this, the one woman could not resist but to utter aloud, if that's the case, I don't even want to go there. I suffered all my life with this man, only to know that I'm going to die in his arms. And only to know that in the akhirah, I'm going to get the same man. But wallahi, let me, just to inform you, because it's a ladies program, let me tell you, our minds that we have here are so small. The husband you will have in the akhirah will be such that when you look at him, however you want to perceive him, he will be. What is in your mind is in his mind. We will be complete human beings. You want him to be large, huge, big, burly, automatically he will be that. Moments later you want him to shrink, he will shrink, subhanallah. And he himself will look at you how he wants you to be. When you look at him, you will be how he wants you, how you want him to be. And when he looks at himself, he will be how he wants to be. There is Kamal. We cannot comprehend it, my dear mothers and sisters. Let us get to Jannah first, then we will meet. And you will tell me, one day in Cape Town you were explaining, today I understand. Allahu Akbar. May Allah grant that to us. We will be complete. No ins and outs. Everything will be to the T, how you want it. Imagine if you had to walk home to see your husband looking according to your taste and choice. And every day that taste and choice can change in Jannah. He will still look how you want him to look. Whatever's in your mind, if you feel, I want this man to give me a cup of tea, automatically you'll see him walking with a cup of tea towards you. It was in your mind. Wouldn't you like that type of a husband? Subhanallah. If his name happens to be the same name that appeared in your marriage certificate in the dunya, that does not mean he will be the same person with evil qualities in the akhirah. May Allah make us comprehend this. And you will be the queens of the Hur in Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us Jannah. And may He grant us Jannah through the green route. Wallahi, we cannot place our baby fingers on a candle for a minute or two. How are we going to tolerate the fire of Jahannam? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us away from it. Ya Allah, we admit that we will not be able to go to Jahannam. It is only your mercy that will drive us to Jannah. Ya Allah, take us there. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك